Hi folks, finally it's time to show you my latest and maybe greatest project I have done so far. In this personal development project, I tried to recreate the website of Airbnb, and I believe I ended up with a website maybe 90% identical to the original website in terms of general structure. First and foremost, I must express my admiration for the Airbnb's website and pay tribute to the great job the developers have done with this website. And the reason I chose Airbnb is that it is one of the most sophisticated websites out there with countless features. Since this was a big scale project, I might have to divide my presentation into several separate videos, and the videos will be comparison based, which means I'll first show what's on Airbnb's website and then what I did myself. So let's start. At the very beginning, we have this header section, and I tried to create an identical header here. And we, in the original website, we have the logo here, as I did the same. And this was one of the most sophisticated and tricky parts of the website. We have a search options model here, and when you click on the model, we come across a very sophisticated model. So, as you can see, when we click on this bar, the bar completely disappears and it's replaced by a new menu bar. And we have an additional section down here. And when you switch between tabs in this menu bar, we have separate drop down menus down here. This was one of the trickiest part, and let me show what I have done. We have the same here, and when we click on it, it disappears and it's replaced by this new bar with no border and additional section down here. And when we switch between sections and tabs, we have this drop down menus. So as you can see, the logic is very the same, the identical, and I believe I have created something very much similar to the original one. Let me explain the model logic of this search model. It has two-tier outside click handler. For what I mean, if I click here, only this drop-down menu disappears. But if I click on the background, then the whole search model disappears. So if I directly click on the model background here, the model disappears completely. But if I click up here, only the drop down section disappears. Let me show you what I have done. See, in my model, it's the same. If you directly click outside this background, the model disappears completely. But if you click up here, only the drop down menu, drop down model section disappears. And when you switch between tabs, we still can see this as in the original website. When we switch between sections, it's still here when we click here, but if I click on the model background, then it disappears completely. And it's the same in my version as well. And one of the most tricky parts of the website was using calendar, which is React Dates, a special library created by Airbnb actually. So we have the check-in and check-out options here. So check-in option comes by default as in my version. And by the way, on the left we have the Airbnb, and on the right we have localhost, my version. And in the date selection section, when you select a date, you see the date is applied here, and it automatically directs us to checkout section. And then we can select checkout date. It's the same logic works with my version. And if I click this 8th of November as the check-in date, you see November 8th is applied here, and we are automatically directed to checkout section. And then we can choose a checkout date, and checkout date is also applied. If I change the check-in date again, 14th of November, see, it was replaced with 14th of November, and we are again directed to checkout section, and it's the same logic on Airbnb's website. I just used a different custom design for selected dates. Mine is green and it's black on Airbnb's website. The default styles are very different for React dates, so it was a bit challenging to come up with this final design. And let me show you a functionality on my own version. And you see, let's say check-in date is 8 and 7th of November, and checkout is 10th of November. And you see from the in the background, you can see daily price. It's 32 pound per night. And if I click search, this 3 night stay will be applied, so the price will be multiplied by 3. And if I apply it, you can see the prices are now the total price for 3 nights. So for me, this three tier and this three tier model, search model, was quite tricky. Yeah, that's pretty much about this search model. And then on the original website, here we have this sign up drop down. We have sign up options and login options. Here it's a drop down menu, and I created the same logic here. You can compare. This is the original website and this is my version. And still, outside click handling works with all models in the website. So if you click outside, the model disappears. It's the same logic with models and drop downs. The same logic is applied throughout the website. So let me show you the inner content of this drop down. We have this sign up model here. If we click on sign up, we end up having this screen on the page, and it's a very simple model. And let me show you mine. We have sign up, host home, and the login menus. And if I click on sign up, we see this model, and this is the original website, and this is my version. In this model, I haven't applied all functionality. I just chose to apply the ones that I deem very important. So we have a selection menu here, all countries and their mobile phone codes. And I did the same. This data is coming from an API, all the countries and their phone codes, international phone codes. And on the original website, you can see that if I choose, let's say Tanzania, or let's go with Turkey. If I choose Turkey, once I click on this input field, I focus, see plus 90 is automatically applied because we chose Turkey. And the same logic works with mine. If I go to my own version of the website and choose Turkey, and since I chose Turkey, if I focus on the input field, and plus 9 is automatically applied. And you can take a look at the UI design. I tried to come up with something very similar, and I believe the model structure is 100% identical to the original one. If you click close, it goes, and if you click close, the same logic applies. If you click outside the model, it disappears. And again, on the original website, if you click outside, it disappears. This was pretty much about the header section on the Airbnb's website, and the header section I created myself. And in the next part of this presentation, in the next video, I will go on with the remaining sections of the website.